Have you ever been in a bar and you thought to yourself, am I standing in the right location to attract those stunners? Should I be sitting down? Should I be standing next to the girl? What should I be doing? Hey bro, it's Nav here and I've got the master of night game, Dan. You probably remember him from Vegas. When it comes to night game, there's no one better in the world. And today, I want to ask him a question that we had on the comments. So it was a guy asking, should he be standing in one spot in the bar, or should he be walking around? You know, should he be standing next to the girls? What's the best location to stand in?
Alright. Thanks for the praise. I'm the best night game person, am I? Throughout the years I've been doing it, I've always tried to figure that sort of answer, make that answer up myself. I always started walking around, I would stand in one place, but one thing I did when I stood in one place, I started observing and looking at what I was seeing and what the patterns were. There are groups of girls that will sit at tables, and that's very, very obvious, and most guys are not going to approach the group of girls. I know that in the beginning I never did that. So what I would do is I would stand at a bar and wait for women to come to the bar to grab a drink, and then every woman that was next to me I would talk, and it's what I teach guys to do now. It does a couple of things. One, you don't feel weird being at the bar, because what you should do when you're at the bar is communicate with the bar man or bar woman and have a conversation with them. And what it does is actually allows you to create a social proof. It creates a social proof. And what that does is that when women come to the bar and you're talking to the bartender, you're talking to them, it actually creates a social proof. So when the girl comes over and notice that you're talking to them, you actually will, the girl may say something like, oh, I don't know what to have, and you'll be like, well, my boy Pedro, Bluebird, he's absolutely a legend. Pedro, he is a connoisseur of mixology. Now, I know for a fact that whatever you desire, whether it's sweet and sour or even bitter, this man will get it for you. And it's usually that's how it works. And it actually gives you that social proof. And then when you do that and the barman's on your side, what happens is it creates that social proof thing, and also makes you look good. And it actually gets them to start talking. Well, how do you know him? Well, how long have you come here? That kind of thing. It actually gives you something to talk about. There are other methods that I would also utilize, which is walking around is great. But I would say some of the basic stuff I would do for someone who's learning or trying to build confidence before, like a toddler, you need to stand before you can walk. So stand at the bar, and then when you get good at that, you can then start walking. And eventually, when you get good at that, you can then start learning like this guy, running up and down the street, chasing them. So first,
for the beginners, you want to stand in one location. Then a more advanced version of that is now you can actually walk around. So stand in one location, build social proof, talk to the bartender, she, and and then as you get comfortable with that situation, so in that situation, when the girl comes next to you, then you approach. So what if she's like 5 minutes away, then you go approach her, or you just do the good old come to Papa?
I don't recommend it come to Papa, but that is, you can get away with the come over here kind of scenario, but you got to do that in a different method. You have to be able to understand how body language works and IOIs work, and how you're then going to do that at a different level. But you basically just observe, make an observation, build an assumption, go over, make a comment, and then you can then do the whole, playing off the bartender.
Anything in your proximity, you approach. You stand in one location, you pick a good location, talk to the people around you, and when the girl comes into proximity, then you make the move. And this way it's high value, isn't it? Because you're not just chasing around the bar. With day game you can do that because no one sees you, right? Whereas in a bar, because people are watching everything that's going on. We go to this bar in London all the time with Dan, and I've noticed Dan, he sits next to the bar, and speaks to the bartender, as he said, and he's quite social, he speaks to everyone. And then when does the stunner come around? Because then they gotta get a drink, right? When the hot girl comes and gets a drink, boom, Dan's in there. But let's say if they're sitting down somewhere, like they're a little bit further away, and you're comfortable with approaching the bar, so you're not a complete beginner, how would that work?
I mean, like I said, there's levels to it. There are multiple ways of doing it. One of the ones I do is I always try to find a way to never interrupt a conversation that they're having. You have to gauge the pattern of the conversation that they're having. If two people are looking at each other like face to face and they're having a conversation, then it's quite difficult to then try to come in, because what you end up doing is the moment you break them from talking, you are technically the enemy. It doesn't matter like how charming you are, how sweet you are, they may give you a little bit of time, but they just want to get back to the conversation. So you either wait for them to break and look away and look bored and play on their phones and stuff like this, and you can make a joke, you know. Modern socializing involves a mobile phone, that kind of scenario. You can make a joke of it, and if you're brave enough and smart enough, you can actually use that and use things that are quite relatable to that. Whether they're checking Instagram or looking at their messages and everything else, and most of the time they're just looking at messages that boys send them just to think if they're interested in talking to them or not.
Yeah.
So you can make jokes of it and actually quite be a little bit abrupt about it, and to make them feel a bit more defensive in that way they talk. What I would suggest if you're going to go and approach bars, I would do this kind of like a similar thing. I would watch, observe, and the moment one of them leaves, whether they go to the bathroom, if they come to the bar, then you know you're winning, you're at the bar. But if they go to the bathroom, toilets, restroom, whatever you guys call it, and you see one of them on their own, you go over, speak to them and say that, you know, let me just keep you company until your friend comes back, because if I don't, there'll be someone else that's more creepy than I am that'll talk to you. It's just like, that's kind of like where I'd go with that. And it's not what is said, it's how it's said. You can say anything. You can have the dumbest opening line ever, or you can say the corniest thing ever. But if you say it well and sound good doing it, then you get away with it.
Yeah, I remember actually with the seating one, we were coaching one student, and there was an opportunity for him to sit next to her, and you went, I remember, because the other girl got up and she was by herself, and you went, go sit next to her on the sofa section, and then open. It was like a big, kind of a big area of just seating.
Yeah.
So it wasn't their table or anything, but then you went, go sit next to her, and then you opened and he was talking to her for a while, and then I think the friend came in, they were chatting. So I guess...
And they all mixed it up.
Yeah.
They all started.
So, in terms of the body positioning, when they're sitting down, if you can sit close to them, it's better than obviously standing up, right?
Yeah.
But you know the ones where they squat down, like I've seen some guys do the squat down, obviously in certain situations good, but I remember you were saying that stand up first, do the thing, and then calibrate after, right? If it goes well, then you can, you know, start doing squats or bench press, a bit of gym workout. Yeah, so would you recommend to open, let's say if they're sitting down, so do you need to be at their level to start with, or first open, stand up, and then?
It is good to start standing up, see a reaction, and then come down and say, look, let me just lower myself down, I don't want you to hurt your neck looking up. And then you can make a joke basically. I'm guessing you're quite short, so you probably have to look up quite a lot. I'm doing you a favour. So like, and those moments like that can actually do quite well. It's always better to start off in the beginning just to see how it goes, and then you obviously then you have to lower yourself. Personally, for me, you know, I hate squats, so if I do it, then I don't get back up. So I do tell them when I come down low, then that's it. They have to pick me back up, or they're gonna have to take me home. One of the two options.
Just coming with a wheelchair.
So my knees don't get back up. I'm done. And approaches and stuff like that. If you want to get to like the next level and you want to start approaching tables, then that's something I would do. The third level, which is like, which is obviously, again, walking around and noticing a girl like hovering around or dancing on a dance floor, stuff like that is like the old school stuff, when you dance and you dance next to them, catch the eye contact, little high fives, grab their hands, spin them around, whatever like cheesy shit you want to pull off. All those things are great. They work very, very well. If it's in your MO, then do it. If it's not in your MO and you've never done it, do it. I've done it quite a few times and they all seem to go really well. It's not particularly something I find my style, but I still do it because at the end of the day, girls, love a little bit of spin around and make them feel like they're a sense of attention for a moment. Yeah. And then you do that, you grab their attention, have a little talk, and then don't dance too long with them, speak with them and say, I'm going to grab a drink later, let's grab a drink. When it comes to the bar approaches at the bar, if the girl's getting a drink, don't buy her the drink. FYI, don't just go, let me get that. She hasn't actually shown any investment in you, so there's no point doing that. So please don't go to bars and do that.
Okay, so in that situation, do you invite her for the drink? So let's say if you're in the dance room and go, let's go get a drink, and then
that's a different thing.
But you pay for it in that time, right? If you invite her.
So if you invite her and she comes over, so whenever you're done, like come and meet me, let's go have a drink. She'll probably say yeah. If she comes really early, then that's a bit weird, and I'll probably kind of like back it off. I'll say something.
What she wants to drink.
Yeah, she's coming for the drink, so I'll probably be a bit abrupt and whatever. But if she comes, and actually, if she comes early or whatever, and she talks to you, and you talk for like 10-15 minutes, then get her a drink.
Yeah. But not to begin with.
Yeah, don't entice it with a drink. But it's a matter of I'm trying to get you away from the dance. The thing that the dance floor one is you're trying to get them away from the dance floor. And to get them away from the dance floor may involve the time that you have to then spend a little bit of money. The ones at the bar, you don't buy them a drink. They're already there to get a drink. You're not there to buy them a drink, and you shouldn't be there to buy them the second drink. Maybe if you guys keep talking beyond 15, 20, 30 minutes, then by all means, get her a drink. Buying a drink is something that guys that go out who don't do this, but as a rule, it's annoying because they're not good enough to do what I do, or good enough to do what you're doing, which is why those guys that do it kind of fuck it up for everybody else. So you do, if you're a bit of a novice at this, if you feel like you're talking to her to a certain extent, get a drink because it breaks the conversation. It allows the conversation being, let's grab a drink, what do you normally drink? And they'll talk about it, you're like, oh, okay, I've never had that. What base is it? And they're like, oh, it's a gin base, this base, whatever base. Or they don't drink alcohol, they just drink non-alcoholic drinks. So it's the conversational starter. What made you stomach that? Have you never drunk in your life? Blah, blah, blah. And if they say whatever it is, religious, whatever, just a diet or a lifestyle change, then that gives you something else to talk about.
One question I had for the drinks, if out of nowhere she's like, can you get me a drink or can you get me champagne?
No.
Just what, straight up?
If she requests a drink, you tell her to request something else. Like you can request something. I'll get you a drink, but how about you, how about if I get a request? And they're like, no, or they no back. That's just rude. Don't let go. If a girl goes, let's go and grab a drink at the bar. That's no. If she goes, let's go and grab a drink at the bar, I'm like, oh, okay. And then when she orders a drink, I'll order my drink and wait for her to pay for it. She said it.
Would you say in that situation, let's split it?
No.
If she doesn't pay?
No,
I'll pay for my drink.
I just grab the drink and leave. I just grab the drink and leave. I say that she's paying for it. She's the one that asks. Sometimes when girls speak to men, they automatically imagine that they're going to drink for free. I don't personally enjoy that. So to avoid that argument, generally I'll tell you guys, just say no. And they go, oh, why? Is it because you requested it? And if I wanted to get you a drink, I would tell you let's go and get a drink.
Yeah, and the other question is, so let's say you invite her for the drink, and you pay for it because you invite her, right? For the rest of the night, let's say if you get 2 more drinks, so 3 drinks overall, would you pay for all of it, or is it best to you get one, she gets one, and then you get one?
Yeah, I personally would buy the first, and then I imagine if she doesn't buy the second, then I'm just gonna leave. I'm happy to buy the majority of the drinks. I'm happy to buy 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
3 out of 5. Like I'll do that. We'll take turns. I'll pay the
some good
majority.
maths there, bro.
I'm struggling because you're stuck in a quiz and stuff. I'm just counting the amount of time I've got in here. So yeah, I would do that. So I would always make sure it's an odd number that I'm the one ahead. And that's what I was doing.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed with certain cultures, it's normal for the guy just to pay all of it. Like for example, if I'm a Russian, Ukrainian, or like sometimes Middle Eastern as well, Latinas, South American. So is this not a hard rule, is it? Like she has to pay. In some situations, would you say you could pay for all of it and the girl's not taking advantage of you?
I mean, majority of the time I go out, women always pay to buy me a drink.
Yeah, I mean you get free drinks in that bar anyway, all the time, right?
I get free drinks to the bar. Not that particular.
Dan's never paid for a drink for anyone. Yes, it for free.
Yeah, the bar down the road, I see. I spent like almost £500 in there and I didn't pay for a single penny. Yeah, but culturally, no. Listen, it doesn't matter if she's like, Middle Eastern or anything like that, or Western European or African or South American, North American, whatever. No, like if you're meeting for the first time, then no.
Same strategy.
Listen, like when I was in a relationship, I paid for the drinks, and I imagine that's what should be happening.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship, you buy the drinks. If you're not in a relationship, then you don't buy the drinks. When it comes to the drink side of it, yeah, like it culturally, no, it doesn't matter. The rules are the same.
Okay.
Like if we meet for the first time, this is the rule. I'll buy you a drink.
So if she's from Sweden and you're doing 3 out of 5,
Listen,
if she's Russian, you're not going to do 4 out of 5.
Listen, if she's from Sweden, then evidently buying drinks in London is like 20% of the price what it costs in Stockholm.
To get to buy it.
She should be buying like at least a few. So no, I would suggest that when it comes to buying drinks, just make sure that you're ahead, but not miles ahead. Don't make it like you're not there to pay for her evening, because evidently if she does that, she should pay for your cab. So there you go.
Alright, thanks Dan, appreciate you giving these incredible advice. If you guys have got any more questions, night game, day game, any type of game, go to the YouTube comment, write it, and we'll get Dan, the master of Night Game Baby, to give you guys all the best insights you can get anywhere else in the world. I'll catch you next video.